I only have 3 records that I want to delete. You can imagine if you had hundreds or thousands of records that you want to delete or clear out of your table here. You want to use the delete action query. I mean, the whole point of using the query is that we can go ahead and set the criteria for those records that we want to see, and then changing or converting the query to a delete action query, we can go ahead and act upon that and say, okay, the records we see here, go ahead and just wipe them all out. So to get started, come up here, click on the Create tab, go to the Queries group, click on Query Design to open it up, and it's going to be the new project table. Double click, close out. Let me click and drag to stretch it open. And then I want to delete all those books whose part number begins with 15 because, we just added them over, as you recall in the previous training video, to our book project table. So I no longer need them in the new project table here. So I can double click and add the part number down below, add my criteria, 15 asterisk, the wildcard again. So the part number has to begin with 15. The asterisk says all the rest of the characters that come after it doesn't matter what they are, just as long as it begins with 15. Again, I can go ahead and click on the View button to test it. It pulls up 3 records. I mean, if you want to see all the fields, go back to the Design View and double click on the asterisk so you can see all of them, and then click on the View button. And then what's interesting is that you've got the part number listed twice, because one I'm using for the criteria and the other one, as you recall back in the Design View, is pulling in all the fields, including the part number. So we've got it here once, then we got it here twice. So I don't need to show it here, so I can uncheck it. And then of course, if you're fine with what we just saw here, we want to go ahead and delete those records. Then come up here on the Design tab to the Query Type group and click on and convert this to the Delete Action Query. Once you select it, it's ready to go. All you have to do is go ahead and click on the Run button. Let me double check my work. Click on the View button. Yeah, that's what I want to delete. Click on the Design View to go back and then go ahead and run it. Now I'm not going to do it here. Let me close out and not save it because I already have a query. It was the append query that had the criteria set up to find those records whose part number begins with 15. If you watched the previous training video, well, if you remember in my previous training video here, let's go ahead and right click, go to the Design View, and instead of creating a new query from scratch, it's already here. Let's just go ahead and convert it from an append query to the delete query. Okay, so click on it, it switches, it's going to go ahead and delete where any part number that begins with number 15. So come up here, click on the Run button. It says I'm about to delete 3 rows. Am I okay with that? Click yes. Now before we check it out here, this used to be the append query, and you can see it's down here. What I can do is I can come up here, click on the File tab, go to Save Object As, so I don't overwrite the append query, so it's still an append query. But with the changes I make, I can go ahead and rename it and call it my, let me delete this, the prefix, Q for query, DEL for delete. So my delete query. Click Okie dokie. Click on the File tab, and there we go. I still have my append query. Now I have the delete query. That X, of course, indicates, you can see it up here, that it's the delete query, the icon there. It's something that you want to delete or remove or X out. And I can go ahead and close out of here. And there we go. Because I had my table open, it removed it. And if I don't want to see all these deleted fields, just go ahead and click Refresh. And then we can repeat the process as we shift more books over and append them to, as you recall in the previous training video, the book project, and delete more here. Again, I want to remind you that once you create your action queries here, don't double click on them, because when you double click on them, it'll want to run the query, actually perform the action. Instead, go ahead and right click on it, open up in Design View, and then hit the View button to view it in the datasheet view. So double clicking on it without doing it this way, it's just like coming in here and clicking on the Run button. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.